Hello beautiful friends, I hope you're all doing incredibly well. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna do something a little bit lighter today. Thank you guys so much for your support on my last video. I strongly debated if I wanted to even post it, and I strongly debated deleting it after it was already up. So I was not expecting to share as much as I did, so thank you so much for being so gracious and kind and loving. I definitely cried reading a lot of your comments, so thank you so much. So like I said, we're going to do something a little bit more lighthearted today, and that is a book haul. I only have 7 books to share with you guys. A few of them don't have quite as much of a synopsis, so I'm going to try my best to explain what I can. And I'm going to start off with my current read, which I'm really enjoying, and that is Guardian by Kate Corsick. If you are in the same like reading kind of family that I am on Instagram, you've probably seen this everywhere. A lot of my friends are also reading it or have already read it, and it is a fun adventure fantasy story. The author is a Christian, so there are a lot of Christian allegories within the story, which really sold me right away with the prologue. I read that and I was like, this is amazing. So the quote that kind of sums up a lot of it is, "The one who destroys cannot create. This is balance." And I just, that quote right away, I was like, yes. So there is the creator god Adoni, and then there's the destroyer Orisis, which I'm sure you can see the allegory right there, especially being that Adoni is kind of a play off of Adonai. But this is also an elven fantasy, which is very exciting. If you know me, you know that I'm kind of obsessed with the elvish aesthetic, so that is also a plus for me. This is based in the realm of Velikor, and the elves live in the kingdom of Sanur. Sanur is the only kingdom that still has the magic of Adoni. They are his chosen people, if you will. Kyler is our main character, this elf right here. He is a commander in the kingdom's army, and a new general was recently selected, and so he goes on an adventure with her to find out what happened to the previous general who had disappeared. As they're on this adventure, they kind of discover more about the history of Velikor, as well as how the hand of Osiris, the destroyer, has not been very far from Sanur as they thought. So it has been a really fun adventure so far. There's definitely a lot of action and a lot of traveling and things of that nature, so it is a very fun story. I'm in a really intense part right now. I'm almost done with it. I got a third left maybe, but right now it's giving 4-star vibe, and I definitely recommend it if you love a high fantasy adventure story. And it's clean, there's no swear words, there's no smut in it, there's a minor romance, sort of, a little bit, but it's not the main focus at all. But overall it's mostly focused on the story and the adventure, so I definitely recommend it if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. The next 2 books are by the same author, Danielle Bullen, and we followed each other on Instagram for a while, and she is just so sweet, and I got both of her books on her Black Friday sale, and I got them both autographed, which is really exciting. She is another fellow believer, which is always a really big plus for me, because then I know that the books are going to be a little bit more in my taste. But the first book is called Frostlight, again by Danielle Bullen, and I just love the artwork on this book, and the synopsis is a little bit difficult to explain because it's not fully explained what the story is about in regards to the actual plot, but I can give you the overall theme of it. So the back says, 7 months of winter, is that too large a guess? 7 months of cold, lifeless barrenness. What if there is nothing beautiful in this oncoming death of winter? 7 months of it. Barren, lifeless, empty. There is no one around to lighten it, no village to celebrate with, no family to cheer, just us, 3 of us alone in the vastness of the empty forest, and we know each other too well to cheer. There's only emptiness and footsteps in the leaves as we wait for snow. So from my understanding, this is just a story about learning to find contentment in the darkness of winter and appreciating the beauty that is there, and I think it's going to be a really good read for me come January and February, when I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm sick of the darkness all the time. I love the winter months and the fall, it's my favorite, but sometimes in Minnesota we can go for days, sometimes weeks, without seeing the sunshine, so I can get a little sad. So I think I'm gonna whip this book out around that time to help me get through it. But on Danielle's Instagram, the little synopsis that she has says, "A cozy read about beauty in the dark of winter, healing where you don't want to be, and finding joy in isolation. It's cozy, it's sweet, it's quiet, and a slower read for the darker months." So like I said, I'll probably wait a couple months to read this, but I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it's going to brighten everything around me. And like I said, this is also autographed, and she wrote, "Harmony, may the light go with you," and I think that is just such a sweet little dedication there. The other book that I got from her I'm very excited about. This is a high fantasy book and it's called Sparrow in the Sun. Isn't that artwork just stunning? So again, on her Instagram, she wrote that it is high fantasy, low magic, herbalism that's not witchy, which I very much appreciate, big useless dogs, Appalachian settings, Christian undertones, who can I trust, hidden fortresses and hidden politics, romance without the smut, thank God, deep stories with hard themes, and swords and lush world building, which I love world building. I know a lot of people get annoyed if there's too much of it. For me, there can never be too much. I want to know what everything looks like, the hall you're walking down, what does it look like, the room you're staying in, tell me what the walls look like, what the curtains look like, what the floor is made of. Like, there can never be too much for me, so I'm very excited to see how that is played out in this book. But I will read the synopsis on the inside because it is quite short. So it says, a hunted people, a murdered king, a war of politics and religion. What would you risk to save what you love? Ennis Finch has hidden away in the mountains, attempting to find a way to save her people from the bloodshed that has hounded them since the death of the king 15 years ago. She has fought and time has fought against her, and now there are soldiers at the door with a wounded officer demanding help. To aid, she would put everything she has worked for at risk, but to refuse would mean death. So, again, I'm not exactly certain what the plot is, but I'm really liking what I do know about it. And like I said, Danielle's a fellow believer, so I'm very looking forward to the allegories and the themes within this book. And I also really love a good romance that doesn't have smut in it. And then, of course, like I said, the herbalism piece really spoke to me, especially because it's always so witchy in other books, so I really appreciate when a book focuses on it without including that aspect. But I'm very much looking forward to reading Danielle's book, and as I said before, she did autograph both of these, and in this one she wrote, "May you ever have joy with the courage to pursue what is right." Isn't that so fun? Oh gosh, and this book is just so stunning. I'm so excited to get into these. Thank you so much, Danielle. I can't wait to read your stories. The next book is the second book in a series that I started in fall, and that is the Muir Harbor series. So I got A Seaside Wonder by Melissa Tagg. This was sent to me from my friend Katie, whom you guys should definitely follow on Instagram. She has the coziest cottagecore page, and I just adore her so much. Her friendship means so much to me. I can't even begin to explain it. I don't want to get emotional, but I just love her so much. So if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending this to me. It meant so much that you sent this, and also another book that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But anyway, this is a wintry theme, so I think I'm gonna read it hopefully soon. I do have quite a few books that I want to get to, but I really love the series, so I'm probably gonna pick this one up. If you don't know, the Muir Harbor series that I started in fall, it takes place in Maine with this really cute, sweet family that I just adore so much, and there was a romance and it was wonderful, but one of the sisters within Neil's family, whom is the male protagonist in that story, Neil's sister Indy, who is a shop owner, is going to be kind of the main girl in this one, which I'm really excited about. So there's going to be a professor named Philip West who comes to Maine. He doesn't want to, but his mother had recently passed, so he came to take over his grandfather's house, and he's also now guardian of his younger sister, whom he doesn't really know very well, and she wants nothing to do with him. But he's out in Maine, and he wanders into Indy's shop, and there's a little something connection between them. He wanders into a little shop with an intriguing owner, one who happens to share a name with someone from his grandfather's mysterious past. Then it goes on to say that it has been a decade since Indy Muir made the heartbreaking decision she's never recovered from. Her ex-fiancé returns to town and brings news that shatters her carefully built walls. Things only get worse when lurking danger comes calling at her childhood home. The one bright spot amid Indy's turmoils is the shy stranger who wandered into her shop alongside his moody but lovable sister. As Indy confronts her past and the mysterious threat facing her family, she's intent on helping Philip win Holland over. He just might win Indy over too, if they can overcome old secrets and wounds, outrun rising peril, and take a chance on love. I'm really excited about it because, like I said, I really enjoyed the first book. I love Melissa Tagg's writing, and the setting was gorgeous. I really want to visit Maine one day, and it's kind of funny. I feel like that's kind of something that writers and readers all have in common. I remember telling somebody that I really wanted to go to Maine, and he goes, "Are you a writer?" Because I guess that's just like a moody, beautiful place that we all want to go to. I don't know, but I really love the setting of it, and of course it is a gorgeous cover. The characters are super lovable. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of an update on Neil and Sydney from the first book. So anyway, I'm very much looking forward to this book. I love a good romance, and it's going to be wholesome. I believe Melissa Tagg is also Christian, so it is going to be a clean story, and I'm just very much looking forward to it. So thank you again, Katie, for sending me this lovely, lovely book. I love the series, and I can't wait to get into this one and the next. The next book that I got is The Holiday Cottage by Sarah Morgan. Doesn't it look so cute? I actually found this on Amazon as a recommended book, and then I read the synopsis and I was like, yep. But this is about a lady named Imogen? I really like it, but I'm not positive on how to say it. But she's kind of a work addict. She is a go kind of a girl, and she kind of has a breakdown from like overworking herself, and so her boss kind of forces her to take some time away, which is her worst nightmare. But as she does, her favorite client Dorothy reaches out to her and offers her a holiday at the Cotswolds at her cottage. And if you don't know what the Cotswolds are, I'm sure you would recognize photos, but they're these beautiful like thatch roofed cottages in England that are just absolutely stunning, and I'm sure we would all love to spend our time there. She goes there and basically she ends up getting a little bit of healing, and honestly so does Dorothy. For Dorothy, helping Imogen offers a longed for chance to make reparations of her own past, but as her daughter Sarah keeps reminding her, it brings risks too. Yet Dorothy knows that only a leap of courage will allow her family to grow and heal, and perhaps this Christmas, with Dorothy's help, the new life that Imogen is slowly piecing together could be better than anything either of them could imagine. So I think this is just going to be a really sweet emotional read, and I love a good heartwarming story. So obviously, like I said, it's got great winter vibes, and I'm excited to get into this one as well, and maybe, I don't know, probably cry. The next book is going to be very exciting for me because it is by Alice Feeney, and she is my favorite thriller authors so far. Rock, Paper, Scissors and Daisy Darker are two of my favorite thrillers, both by her, and she just came out with a new one. This is on Book of the Month, and it is called Beautiful Ugly. Look at how awesome that cover is with the detail. And bonus, it's also a Scottish story, so I'm very stoked about that. So this story is actually about an author named Grady, and he is having the quote-unquote best worst day of his life. He's on his way home and he calls his wife to update her about it, and while he's on the phone with her, she swerves and gets into an accident. So he ends up showing up and finding her car abandoned on the side of a cliff. Her door's open, her cell phone is still there, her headlights are still on, but she is gone. So a year later, he is still mourning, just going through it, and so he decides to move to a Scottish island. What a dream. And while he's there, he ends up finding a woman who looks exactly like his wife. So that sounds fun and exciting, and I'm just like super looking forward to reading this book. Like I said, I love Alice Feeney. I've been in a little bit of a thriller mood lately, so I don't think I'm gonna get to this until spring because I'm a seasonal reader, but I'm super excited about it because, like I said, it sounds exciting, and the whole Scottish island thing, automatic yes for me. I want to go to Scotland so bad. But anyway, so yeah, very much looking forward to that. And if you have never read thrillers before, I definitely recommend Alice Feeney. I think she's fantastic, but that's just me. So moving on. The next book is another one that was sent to me by my friend Katie. Thank you so much. And this has been on my wish list for years. So when I first started to watch BookTube, like when I learned that it was a thing, this was mentioned in like the very first video I saw. I don't remember if it was in a TBR or a book haul or a recent reads, I'm not sure, but I saw the cover and I was like, that's beautiful. And then it sounds really fun, and that is The Green Glasshouse by Kate Milford. So I don't really know a whole lot about it off the top of my head, so I'm going to read the synopsis because it is pretty short, but it says, it's wintertime at Green Glass House. The creaky smuggler's inn is always quiet during the season, and Milo, the innkeeper's adopted son, plans to spend his holiday relaxing. But on the first icy night of vacation, out of nowhere, the guest bell rings, then rings again and again. Soon Milo's home is bursting with odd, secretive guests, each one bearing a strange story that is somehow connected to the rambling old house. As objects go missing dancing and tempers flare, Milo and Meddy, the cook's daughter, must decipher clues and untangle the web of deepening mysteries to discover the truth about Green Glass House and themselves. It sounds fun, it sounds intriguing. It's, I think, middle grade, possibly YA, I'm not sure. So I'm sure there's going to be some kind of like beautiful moral lesson in it, I'm not sure, but it sounds fun. And again, this is just so beautiful. So obviously a winter read. I'm hoping to get into it over the next couple months. I know I keep saying that, but I do have a few fun books in mind for this month and next month that I'm not gonna talk about yet because you'll find out. But I am really looking forward to this one. I think it sounds like such a sweet story from what I've heard, and like I said, it's just beautiful. And then finally, the last book that I got was a Black Friday deal on Amazon, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about my thoughts in regards to this kind of story in just a minute, so feel free to stick around for that. But that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and it just looks so cute. Isn't that artwork just stunning? And you see the little cat with the wings? How cute! But this is just like the ultimate cottagecore book cover, and it sounds really, really sweet. It's about a young girl named Keela who has a magically sentient spider plant named Kaz. They preserve the town's spell books, and then there is a revolution. The library goes up in flames. She takes refuge on a remote island she never thought she'd see again, and that is her childhood home. She has a very nosy and very handsome neighbor who can't take a hint and keeps showing up day after day to make sure she's fed and to help her fix her new home. In need of income, Keela identifies something that even the bakery in town doesn't have: jam. With the help of an old recipe, books her parents left her, and a little bit of magic, her cottage garden is soon covered in ripe berries. But magic can do more than make life a little sweeter, so Keela risks the consequences of using unsanctioned spells and opens the island's first ever and much needed secret spell shop. So I've heard that this is just a very sweet, very cute cottagecore story about romance and finding magic in the ordinary and just all the beautiful things. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one in the spring, of course. I mean, look at all the flowers, definitely a springtime read. And it's got the purple edges, so that adds a little fun to it. But I'm really excited to read this one. So in regards to that, I figured I would just throw this out there because this has been a topic that has come up in my life again recently. So I just wanted to clarify where I'm at in regards to the whole being a Christian and reading books that have magic in them. I know everybody's going to have different convictions and viewpoints on this, so I just wanted to share mine so there's no confusion about it. Again, I'm bringing this up because this is something that came up recently. I got kind of like a really, really awful message from somebody who was really, really mean and insulted me, and it was just really horrible. All that to say, my current conviction is I believe that there is a difference between imagination, magic, pretend, that kind of stuff, and then real witchcraft magic. If it is a kind of magic that can be practiced in real life, I consider that witchcraft magic, and that is something that I avoid. I don't want to read books that contain real magic, that contain the real craft. Like, that is a conviction that I have as a believer. I believe that we are told to stay away from that kind of stuff in the Bible, so that is my conviction. Again, I believe that there's a difference with a lot of fantasy, pretend magic. Like, no matter how hard I try, I cannot practice elven magic in real life. It's pretend, it's not real, and so that kind of stuff does not bother me. So again, like in the spell shop, I will see how this goes. I don't know for sure the kind of magic. From my understanding, it is definitely pretend. I mean, there's a cat that has wings, you know what I mean? It's very fantasy-esque. Part of the back says, this was a good place with kind people who cared about each other. There was a unicorn in the woods, mermaids in the coves, and the best raspberries she'd ever tasted. So it is very, like I said, fantasy-esque. I know a lot of people don't even like that kind of stuff. Like, they see mermaids and unicorns as like symbolic to things that are evil. I personally don't. Again, imagination, pretend. That's just my viewpoint on things. You might have a different conviction, and that's totally okay. Just remember, it's not okay to assume that somebody is or is not a believer solely based on your convictions. I just wanted to throw that out there because, again, it has come up in my life recently and it's kind of disturbed my peace. I have a past in witchcraft. Okay, there was a time in my life when I identified as a witch. For many years, I practiced the craft. It is part of my past, so I don't take it lightly when I talk about the difference between imagination, imaginary fairy tale magic, and real witchy, dark, evil witchcraft magic. So I know, again, like I said, not everybody believes that there is a difference, and that's fine. If you believe that, if that's your conviction, then by all means, stay away from books that have it, you know what I mean? But for me, that's just my conviction where I'm at. That might change in the future, who knows? But Again, live according to your convictions, pray about everything. If God tells you to put down a book, then put it down, okay? Even if it's one that I'm recommending, do not listen to me. So I, again, just felt the need to say that because I feel like a lot of the times when I talk about a book that has magic, I end up getting a comment or a message or something in regards to that. So just figured I would put it out there. Anyway, those are the 7 books that I have recently hauled that I'm very excited about. I'm very much looking forward to reading all of those winter books, hopefully in the next few months. I have some exciting reads coming up as well that I will get into very soon. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Your support and encouragement means so much to me, and I'm very excited to be putting out videos again. Obviously, like I said, I've kind of taken a breather because it's been an emotional last few couple months. I'll just put it that way. So again, thank you guys so much. I love you with my whole heart, and I will see you guys again very soon in my next video. Bye.